Hi guys, this is Umair back with another video. So I'm going to be starting a new tutorial series on the new version of Next.js, which is 13. If you're already familiar with the previous versions of Next.js, you already know that how you have been creating routes, how you have been creating APIs, doing server-side rendering with different functions, and how you do implementing all the templates and the UI on the front end. This version comes with the new way of implementing all these things. The concepts are same, but the way you implement these things are different in this version, and these are quite impressive performance wise and the scalability wise, and these are really easy to use. In this video, I'll just gonna be talking about what are the different things changed in the Next.js 13. Next videos, I will be practically writing code in front of you and explain you each and every concept of Next.js 13. All right, so if you are just starting learning Next.js and you are coming up from React background, I'll just gonna be explaining you that what is Next.js. So it is actually a front-end open source framework for building web application with the syntax of React. So you can, again, you can use the JSX. And Next.js, the main feature of Next.js that it provides the server-side rendering and a unique way of how you implement the routing. What's new in Next.js 13, and this is the goal of this tutorial series. So Next.js 13 is basically comes with the different improvements. So by default it comes with the TypeScript, right? So you can also choose the JavaScript, but by default it comes with the TypeScript. And rather than introducing the pages folder, if you're already familiar with the Next.js previous versions, it has some slash app directory, and this is the directory. I'll just let you know that how you can create different routes within this directory. So this directory, you are going to create all the components for the pages, and you cannot go outside of this directory. So its name is predefined, and then it introduces the React server components. It's just like the rendering components from the server side, but how you implement these in this version of Next.js is quite different and quite easy. And then it comes with the async components and the data fetching. It comes with the different ways and optimize and easy ways of how you data fetch, call APIs, and then it returns the data, how you do all these stuff, right? And then it comes up with the built-in loader for any page. So let's say that you are calling an API for that page and it takes some time to load the data, you need to show the loader. So it comes up with the pre-built file names that you can use to actually load any kind of loader, any kind of text, any kind of image, until and unless that data don't comes back from the API, right? And then it comes with the Turbopack. It is quite fast, and it's just work like the Webpack that you have been using previously. So the developers of this Turbopack says that it is 700 times faster than the Webpack, right? And then if you are already familiar with the Next images, links, Next fonts, these are all optimized, and these are all a bit syntax of these, how you use these are changed. So you can optimize the code using these things. And then how you define the metadata, like the links, meta tags for description, and for Facebook, for Google search engines. It provides a unique, a better way how you add the meta tags on each pages, right? So first let's talk about the TypeScript, that when you start and initialize any project in Next.js 13, it gives you an option. So by default it just shows you that this development folder structure for Next.js 13 is having the TypeScript by default. You don't need to separately install the TypeScript. So let's talk about the main feature of Next.js 13. So slash app directory is introduced. So how does it work is it comes up with all the folder structure inside it for creating routes. So let's say that you want to create a home route. You just need to create the page.tsx file within the app folder, and page.tsx file is, you can't change the name of this file, so it will become the home route. So if you want to create a contact route in the in the Next.js 13, what you need to do in the app folder, you create a contact folder, and in that folder you will again create the page.tsx. Page name is fixed in this version of Next.js, and the folder name actually defines the route name, right? And then inside the folder name, you can, if you want to create the folder further nested child routes, again, for all these routes you need to create the folder, and each of these routes should have a page.tsx file, just like the details. This is the nested route, and you can create the page.tsx, right? And just like the previous version of Next.js, if you want to have a dynamic route, uh, like in the route you can add any id random values inside it, and it should be received within this routing folder structure. You can have this square brackets around it, right? And also if you want any number of routes like the abc slash def slash and any number of routes, just like the previous versions, you can have dot 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 before the name of this route. And one of the main feature of it is that if you want to structure and organize the routing folder structure within your app, uh, then you can have a folder within this app directory within these parentheses. So what it will do is it will ignore this, and it will not be included as a part of the URL structure. So you can see here that the shared keyword, although it is a folder, but it is with the parentheses, it is not added in the routing structure. So route will only be slash model, because the shared is ignored, and then the model, and then the page. So model is the folder, and then the page.tsx is the file within this model folder, and the shared is just for us to organize and optimize the folder structure of our. And next, if you want to create private folders within the app folder, you can have that particular folder name starting with the underscore before that, right? And all those folders that does not have the page.tsx file, you can also create such kind of folders, and it can behave like the simple components, just like you've been creating in the previous versions of Next.js or even in React. So you can have a components folder within the app folder, but you don't need to create page.tsx if you want to create some shared components for these routes, right? So, and also the last thing is, if you want to create APIs, again, you can have the API folder within the app folder, and API folder can have the route.tsx file inside it. So it will become an API with the name, and this name route is fixed. You can't change it. If you want to have further nested APIs like API slash get products, then you need to create another folder inside the API folder, get products, and then you need to create another file inside that folder which can call route.tsx, right? So this is how the routing structure works in the new version of Next.js 13. So next thing is, what are the server components in Next.js 13? So actually all the components that you are going to create in this new version within the app folder are by default the server components, right? So it's just a simple React component, a functional component. It will be by default a server component, and this kind of component is having a smaller JavaScript bundle and less expensive client-side rendering. So if you want to convert this by default server components into a client component, you just need to write use client at the top of file, right? And this is the only thing you need to do, and it will become a client component, right? So it's up to us how we can create the server components and the client components depending upon the requirements of a component, that what it needs to do. So this is the image I have copied from Next.js documentation, and you can decide when you want to create a server component and when you need to create the client component. There are different purposes of it. Let's talk about the async components and data fetching. Let's say you want to fetch the data from the database through an API. So what you need to do is just create async await. If you already know how promises and asyncs works. So what this is, the page is the component, and it's calling a function inside the same file, and it's going to return this response of this API, and it's going to receive over here, right? So it is actually by default a server component, and this is what it does is, if you remember the previous version of Next.js, you might be familiar with the get server side props, get static props, get static paths. So currently it is actually behaving like a get static props. So by default, it is rendering this component from the server with the same concept of the get static props. Get static prop means that on the build time of your project, this component is going to call this API, and it's going to store the result in that build folder, right? On the right side, you can see that uh, it's by default it's works like a get static props, right? And you can also pass the second param as an object to this API fetch function, and it will work like the get static props of the previous version of Next.js. You don't need to remember these weird functions that were introduced in the previous versions, right? And if you want to revalidate, let's say you are creating the build folder, and this component is already rendered pre-built in the build folder, and you want to revalidate just like the get static paths in the previous version of Next.js. You just need to add this revalidate 10, and the same thing you used to do with the previous version of Next.js, right? And then if you don't want to create this kind of function pre-built at the build time, obviously you will be doing the get server side props, but not in this version of Next.js. You just need to pass this object cache no store, and it will become just like the get server by side props, and you are just getting rid of this weird function, right? And then how the loading works of any page, you just need to create the loading.tsx within the app folder, and you can have a loading.tsx file for every child folder that you are going to create within the app folder. So all the page.tsx file can have the loading.tsx file, so it can work like a loading state for any component or the multiple components. So you can write anything inside this component, maybe show the loader, show gifs, or write some kind of text in it, right? And then it provides some optimized way of how you stream the data. So the by default, uh, when you do the server side rendering of the different pages, it the way it works is it passes the chunks of the HTML to the front end. So if the component is too heavy, too big, then it divides that HTML page into the chunk, and it progressively send those chunks from the server to the client. And this is something new that I have found, and I didn't know that it's working in the previous version of the Next.js, right? So next, the Turbopack, as I've already mentioned at the start of this video, that the Turbopack is newly launched, and in order to use the Turbopack, you just need to update the script object, and in the dev command, you just need to add dash dash turbo, and it will start using the Turbopack for building the Next.js 13 plus projects, right? And currently, on the date when I'm recording this video, which is the 10th of June 2023, this does not work on the production. It's only for the developers to speed up their development process at the moment, and we are hoping that it will start working on the production as well, and different hosting providers are going to integrate this on their servers, right? And next image, next link, the next image, how it works is it has excluded the anchor tag. Earlier versions of Next.js were having the anchor tag, but now you cannot have the anchor tag. You can directly use the link packages to just navigate to different routes. And also it has optimized some image class as well, and it's going to load faster, more faster, even on low connections, right? And the next font is that we don't need to download Google Fonts from any server. It just uh, add an extra feature in it. It is by default added in the Next.js 13 version, and it also plays an important role for the SEO. And one last thing that I want to mention is that when you need to create a meta tag in any page or a route, what you need to do that above, you can import this from Next, the metadata, and it should have the title and the description, and then you can have a metadata already added by default for that page. You don't need to add a separate head components and then start binding the data. And you can also create dynamic metadatas as well. You can check out the Next.js documentation. So these are just constant, but you can add the dynamic data. And one last thing which is quite interesting, that while you are working the Next.js 13, you can still use the pages folder just like the previous versions of Next.js. So you can create two routes in app directory, and you can also create the pages folder as well and create the two routes inside it. So what I think about is that it's quite good. So if you want to transfer your Next.js projects to the Next.js 13, so you can create a Next.js 13 project and initialize it, and it will still support all the routing system of the previous folder structure of the pages. And you can one by one convert each component into Next.js 13 and move those components in the app directory, right? So if you have half components on pages and half on app directory, you need to make sure that those component names should not the routing, the folder name or the file names should not match, otherwise there will be a conflict and it will not work. So guys, these were the main features that were added in the new version of Next.js. And from now on, I'll be creating more videos of Next.js 13. And then I will be writing code in front of you and creating components, building small applications. And I'm sure that you are going to like that. If you like my video and like my effort, and if you want me to create such videos and start writing code in Next.js, in Node, React, React Native, Angular, and there are a lot of things that I'll be working on my channel and covering up these technologies. So just to request you guys, please subscribe my channel. It's my new channel, and it will appreciate me and it will encourage me to create more videos. Thanks for watching.